It's another snowy day in central Kentucky. 40 degrees in the shop this very morning. On tap for today, got several projects. I've got this occasional side table, and that needs to be repaired. I'll get into that in a little bit. But another thing that I want to work on today is wooden barrel. We buy those when we're looking for stuff to put in our resale shop. I buy those at yard sales for little or nothing. They need repair. This one looks pretty janky. What I'm going to do today is glue the bottom piece back together. Sometimes if they're missing, I might have to make a piece for the bottom. But I'm going to glue this one back together. I'm using essentially a ratchet strap to tighten that up and hold it in place while that glue sets up. On the other end of the barrel, I use a 1/8 inch aluminum rod. A lot of times that's missing. I'll work that in the top, cut it off to length, and then work it back in place, and that keeps the staves from moving around. I picked these barrels up at yard sales for $1 or $2, and they sell in a resale booth $30, $40 a piece. So whenever I see those, I pick them up. I don't replace the metal bands because when I do, I've found that they just don't look the part. They don't look authentic. So I will tap those in with a little brad or a wooden tack, keep those in place, and use the ones that are there. A while back I had made a door for my office, and the clips are sitting here. If you haven't seen that video, it's pretty interesting. It's kind of long, but worth watching. Anyway, I'm putting the trim up around the door, and I'm painting, putting a second coat on, and then I've got to make the little decorative pieces at the bottom of the trim, get those on the router table, get them put together, painted, and in place. I'm going to knock that out today too. This is my workshop PSA reminder. We live far away from medical attention, so it's my reminder to be extra careful when I'm in the shop. After I made those pieces of trim, I am painting them now. Going to let the paint dry before I install them on the door. Here we go again. The weather has changed again significantly. it's warm enough outside, I can leave the door to the shop open, get some fresh air in. This accent table we picked up for the resale booth, and not a lot wrong with it, but the drawer is, somebody tried to repair it. They did the best they could, but I think it can be a lot better. So I'm gonna basically rebuild the drawer with sides in the bottom and use the original front. And I'm gonna make those out of cedar. After I got all the pieces cut out, I set up the router table to round over the tops of each and every piece of the drawer, and then also going to use router table to cut grooves for the drawer bottom in a minute. I'm going to use a half lap joint to assemble the drawer. That's how it was originally made. Now that the glue up is complete, I'm going to put the clamps away. Drawer looks pretty good, doesn't it? While I was putting the clamps away, I looked and I noticed this. Tell me, when was the last time you saw a clamp that said this? Back to the accent table. As I'm kind of testing the assembly, the drawer is just loose. I don't like it, and I'll think about it while I'm sanding the table down. Think about some possible solutions. And for now, I'm going to go ahead and sand it completely. It's a small table, it's not going to take that long. While I'm sanding, I'm going to think about possible solutions for that drawer. Again, I'm just not satisfied with the way that it fits. The solution I came up with for the drawer, the runner that it slides on is a little narrow, so I'm going to add strips to each side to widen it. And then I've come up with these roller ease items that were in the shop. I kind of think they were my grandfather's. They're ancient. And as I was looking at the instructions and the package, it's just got that antique-y feel. But the address on the back of the package, where the manufacturer is, they don't even list a zip code. That tells you how old those things are. But I put those in place and used them, and that's going to be my solution. See, look at the bottom, no zip code. And here's the finished table. What do you think? And now for some bonus footage. I had said in an earlier episode that this had been eating away at me, that I built the shop and put up all the drywall, and everything, all except for that one little spot. So it's got to happen. Well, we've got some time while I move all this stuff around and hang some drywall. Let me tell you about that walnut wood. When I was 13, my dad and I drove from states away to get that walnut from my grandfather's workshop. My dad let me drive on the interstate at age 13, which elevated him to superhero status with me. I was also in a dead panic when I saw a state trooper going the opposite direction. And as I was freaking out, my dad said to me, "Calm down, son. He doesn't know you're 13. The oak on the floor came from a horse farm. There's a pile of pine that came from a lake house cabin that was being remodeled. Then there's wormy chestnut that we got out of the back of a JCPenney stockroom years and years ago." You see the outlets on the wall? Before, while that wood was there, I could never find them, always had them buried in wood. So when I put the wood back up after the drywall, I'm going to box those in. While I got the shop put back together and looking around, it gave me some time to think about some other improvements I wanted to make in the shop too. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching the video. Please leave a comment, give me a thumbs up, and come back and see us next time, all right?